In 1869, Russian chemist Dmitry Mendeleev started the development of the periodic table, arranging chemical elements by atomic mass. He predicted the discovery of other elements and left space open in his periodic table for them. Dobrynin traits. In 1817, Dobrynin suggests a relation between the properties of elements and their atomic weights. According to Dobrynin, the atomic weight of the middle element is nearly the same as the average of the atomic weights of other two elements. The only effect of this is that all the known elements could not be classified as traits. For example, iron, manganese, nickel, cobalt, zinc, and copper are 6 similar elements which cannot be placed in the trait. Newland's octaves. In 1865, says that if the chemical elements are arranged according to increasing atomic weight, those with similar physical and chemical properties occur after each interval of 7 elements. Newland was one of the first to detect a periodic pattern in the properties of the elements and anticipate later developments of the periodic law. Henry Moseley. Henry Moseley was an outstanding skilled experimental physicist. In 1913, he used self-built equipment to prove that every element identified is uniquely determined by the number of protons it has. This discovery enabled of 4 new chemical elements, all of which were found. Was a Russian chemist and inventor. He formulated the periodic law, created a four-sided version of the periodic table of elements, and used it to correct properties of some already discovered elements, and also to predict the properties of 8 elements yet to be discovered. Newland was the first person to devise a periodic table of chemical elements arranged in order to Newland was the first person to devise a periodic table of chemical elements arranged in order of their relative atomic masses. In 1865, his law of octaves, which states that any given element will exhibit analogous behavior to the 8 elements following in the table. Newland arranged all of the known elements starting with hydrogen and ending with thorium into 7 groups of 8. Dobrynin was a German chemist who is best known for work that foreshadowed the periodic law for the chemical elements and inventing the first lighter, which was known as the Dobrynin lamp. Dobrynin's lamp. He became a professor of chemistry and pharmacy at the University of Jena. Moseley was an English physicist whose contribution to the science of physics was the justification from physical laws of the previous empirical and chemical concept of the atomic number. This stemmed from his development of Moseley's law. Moseley's law justified many concepts in chemistry by sorting the chemical elements of the periodic table of the elements in a logical order based on their physics. He published first the long-form periodic table or modern periodic table, which is used till date. After becoming a teacher in 1867, Mendeleev wrote the definitive textbook of his time, Principle of Chemistry. It was written as he was preparing a textbook for his course. This is when he made his most important discovery. As he attempted to classify the elements according to their chemical properties, he noticed patterns that led him to postulate his periodic table. He claimed to have envisioned the complete arrangement of the elements in a dream. This is what he said. I saw in a dream a table where all elements fell into place as required. Awaking, I immediately wrote it down on a piece of paper. Only in one place did a correction later seem necessary. Dobereiner reports trends in certain properties of select groups of elements. For example, the average atomic mass of lithium and potassium was close to the atomic mass of sodium. A similar pattern was found with calcium, strontium, and barium, with sulfur, selenium, and tellurium, and also with chlorine, bromine, and iodine. Moreover, the density for some of these traits followed a similar pattern. These sets of elements became known as Dobereiner's traits. In Newton's table, the elements were ordered by atomic weights that were known at the time and were numbered sequentially to show them in order. Periods were shown going down the table, with groups going across, the opposite from the modern form of the periodic table. The incompleteness of the table allowed the possible existence of additional undiscovered elements. He discovered that each element emits X-ray at a unique frequency. He also found he could get a straight line graph by plotting the square root of X-ray frequency against elements' atomic numbers. Strangely, Moseley realized that his work had confirmed Van den Broek's hypothesis. His data made most sense if the positive charge in the atomic nucleus increased by exactly 1 unit as you look from one element to the next in the periodic table. In other words, he discovered that an element's atomic number is identical to how many protons it has. This was enormously important. It meant that Moseley had discovered that the basic difference between elements is the number of protons they have. He realized that an element is defined by its number of protons. If an element has 1 proton, it must be hydrogen, 2 protons must be helium, 3 protons must be lithium, etc. etc. It was a huge discovery in 1913.